Hi guys, I'm Hamish Gorman. Welcome back for another Staying Healthy at Home education session. Today what I want to talk to you about is selecting the right weight for an exercise and how different movements that we do can affect the weight that we need to pick. So, first off, I'm going to talk to you about how the position of our arms in a movement changes the weight that we need to pick. And from there, we'll talk about how we select the number of repetitions that we want. So, you'll notice that I've got a couple of weights down by my side, ranging from 10 kilos all the way down to 2. So, for the first movement that I'm going to do, now, bearing in mind, you don't need 10 kilos at home, but this is just for demonstration purposes. If I hold the weight close to my body and my arm relatively still, 10 kilos isn't a big problem for me. If I curl it up towards my shoulder, then that's doable. Now for many people at home, 10 kilos is going to be a lot too much, so don't try it with that amount of weight. But you will notice that these kind of movements, where we're using one or both arms and we're in close to the body and we're down low, are relatively easy movements for most people to do. And we're able to lift a relatively large amount of weight in these positions. Now, as a general rule, the further out wide we get and the higher we get, the less weight we're going to be able to lift, in particular as we go out wide. So, if I'm to go down on the edge to my 2 kilo weight, then in close and down low is a really easy movement for me to complete. However, going out wide, maintaining the control and holding it there for a little bit of time, I can actually get a fair bit of work through my shoulder. So the time at which you hold a position and the further away it is from the body, the longer the lever that we use, the harder that's going to be on the muscles within our body. So, in close, down low, nice and easy. Out wide, for a longer period of time, a fair bit harder. Now the same applies generally as we go up overhead. Now you may find if we stay close to the midline that you sit somewhere in between. So for me to do 5 kilos overhead is relatively easy, and it's easier than trying to do 5 kilos out to the side, which is relatively hard. So, down low, in close, nice and easy. Out wide, holding it there, quite hard. Up high, but in close, isn't too bad either. Now that's going to depend a little bit on your range of movement that you've got. So I just want you to think about when you're selecting a weight that you're doing at home, depending on the exercise that you're doing, is going to depend on the kind of resistance that you want in your body. Now, keeping that resistance doable and comfortable, especially early on as you're getting started with exercise or getting back into it after a long period of time, is key. As a general rule of thumb for you guys exercising at home, if the first set of the exercises that you do, you can't do 10, that would be a good indication that the weight might be a little bit too heavy or a little bit too challenging for you. If, on the other hand, you get through a second or a third set of those exercises and you feel like you could keep going to 20 or 30 repetitions, that would be an indication that you may be ready to progress to a slightly heavier weight. Now, bearing in mind, small increases in weight can have a big impact on the difficulty of that movement. So, just to summarise, if in the first set of the exercises you do, so the first lot of 10 that you do, you couldn't do 10 repetitions, that's a good indication that you may want to pick a slightly easier weight. If you get through to the third set of those exercises and you could have easily done 20 or 30, that may be a good indication that you could go slightly heavier on that weight. It's always good to wait a day or so, see how you pull up, and then if you have felt good, you can move on from there. If you have any questions or you're unsure about what's right for you at this stage of your training, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll help you out as best we can. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I hope you found it useful. Bye.